Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, all subscribers, viewers, and supporters of this channel. Welcome back. Has ha, have you ever come across a situation that you are needed to differentiate between two similar items and you have some form of idea how to differentiate, but seems a bit difficult. For example, Chinese New Year is coming as I'm recording this. Have you heard of the Chinese New Year firecracker, the long firecracker, whereby the initial is all those small firecracker that burns and explode in such a magnitude, okay? And then after a long cracking fire, at the end is one there's a hiatus, a short period of silence, and boom, a big one. How do you differentiate that in terms of what sort of criteria you're doing? This is what we are doing in this video. I'm introducing you the criteria, call it evaluation criteria. Before we go on, my fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, if you are in a mosque for the Friday prayers, khutbah, and also attending any religious lessons by scholars, please do not watch this video. Pay attention to that. Thank you very much. Love you for that. Wish you Jannatun Naim. Now, how would you differentiate between that sort of you know the firecracker, the long one that burns repeatedly in a more frequent manner, and a longer duration, and then suddenly there's a hiatus, boom. That's what we are doing, what we are using, in fact, in evaluation as evaluation criteria to differentiate uh, environmental impacts caused by environmental aspects by virtue of which we would be able to determine significant environmental impact, and thus those environmental aspects that causes the generation of significant environmental impact are called significant environmental aspects. Stay tuned. We'll do evaluation criteria, and let us recap some of the work that we have done. Remember, we have done the identification of environmental aspects, okay, by doing the input output analysis. If you're new to this channel, you have the luxury to look for those videos titled ISO 14001 input output analysis is there for you and already published. And then you can come into this segment where this is a bit a follow on, slightly advanced from that, where we do evaluation criteria. So why are we doing this? As I said, to differentiate the various types of environmental aspects, to identify which ones are more significant, because those more significant environmental aspects is causing some form of environmental liability to the company, and we got to manage it in a more urgent manner or more closer monitoring. Okay, so what are the criteria that we're going to use for this evaluation? Let's take a look. These are some of the samples that I have for you. Look, we have got magnitude over here. These are one. This is one. Another one is severity of impact and legal impact to those environmental impacts and aspects, business impact associated to those environmental aspects, and you can add another criteria if you do have. Please consult your respective consultants and trainers before you do this on your own. You may have a draft, but please sort their expertise, their opinion. Okay, they have experience in this, probably in many types of industries. Please refer to your consultants. And also impact to client. Our environmental aspects is giving an impact to client. How does it happen? We'll take a look. And also remember the firecracker. Well, situations is when environmental aspect can occur in normal, abnormal, or emergency situation. They will discuss that. But back to the firecracker, look, frequency. That's frequent, and there's a hiatus, but followed by the last firecracker in Chinese New Year is popular. It's a bigger size cracker, and it goes like a bomb, boom. How we differentiate that? And also the duration of the release of this environmental aspect. For example, the firecracker again, there are some moderately long firecracker depending on the prosperity of the Chinese family. If they are richer, they burn a much longer firecracker that shows their status in society. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not Chinese. I've got all my Chinese friends around me. And those even longer one, it would take like, well, I have my neighbor easily 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Wow, it's a pop, 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 pop. For that long firecracker that is generating those small sound, and in the end there's a hiatus as well and a big boom. That is the duration of the release of those environmental aspects causing the duration of environmental impact. I hope you are able to follow. This is the dashboard that I have shown you repeatedly over other videos, earlier videos. So we'll take a look at this. We'll use this, and don't worry about this. This is just some cut and paste thing that I do. A boiler unit doesn't cause hydrological imbalance. Just look at the column, look at the format. That is more important than what's inside there. Okay, let's take a look at the next slide. We have this. I'm going to use these criterias for display in this particular video for your benefit. Again, please sought the expert opinion of your respective consultants and trainers. They have been doing this hands-on, get the opinion, and I believe they have been doing ISO 14001 in all this with various types of industries, a number of industries. Okay, they got the experience, trust them. Okay, now we have here the different types of evaluation criteria. One is magnitude, we'll discuss this. Okay, and we have got severity of impact. The other one was magnitude of impact, then business impact to our company, and legal impact to our company, and the duration of that release of environmental aspects and how frequent it is being released. I believe you saw in the dashboard that is actually when we do the calculation, is all magnitude plus severity plus business plus legal, and the total will be multiplied by duration and multiplied again by frequency. Okay, now let's take a look. I have here the different types of the common types of evaluation criteria that I've been using, as I mentioned earlier in earlier videos, that we have done this since 1996, and we grow from there because I'm trained by Herr Manfred Born from Ökolo und Kommunikation in Bremen. His office is in Walsrode Straße. I studied there, and he was a member of TC 207, and he helped the committee draft many standards, and among the standards he drafted then was environmental aspect, and I studied life cycle assessment from him. I hope if he is watching or his children is watching, I love you guys. Okay, I'm old now. When I met you guys, I was just about my mid-30s, so I hope his children is grown up and doing well in life. I believe they are still in Bremen. Okay, so Magnitude. Magnitude is one of the criteria that we're going to use to evaluate the environmental impact for their respective environmental aspects. But what is magnitude? Well, in excuse me, if you are perhaps a motorbike lover, since I'm a biker now, but for many years, if you listen to the exhaust pipe of perhaps a standard exhaust pipe of BMW S1000RR, I think it's pretty clear that exhaust pipe sounds. So what is that? What is the magnitude of sound? How do you measure the magnitude of sound? Decibels. For example, that BMW, if you record it, it could be producing at 4 to 5,000 RPM, probably a sound level of about 70, probably 65 decibel A. But if you were to change the exhaust pipe of the S1000RR to perhaps Akrapovic or Terminini, okay, what do you think? With decibel killer, you get a sound which could go beyond 90 decibel A at 4,000 at the same RPM. Remember the same RPM, 4,005 to 5,000 RPM, probably recording 90 but 110 decibels. Wow, wow. But if you were to remove that decibel killer, it's a silencer actually, small unit for that what you call full system exhaust pipe, you get some form of sound which can be noise for some bikers, but for most bikers it's not noise. It's like rock fans listening to rock, a loud band, okay? But if you were to remove that decibel killer, you are getting like 130, probably more, from the exhaust pipes of BMW S1000RR, because they're using aftermarket full system original exhaust pipe, perhaps Akrapovic or even SC Project without decibel killer. That is magnitude of impact of what? Sound coming from the exhaust pipe of that motorcycle. The same thing goes for car. You have a Nissan Skyline, perhaps with standard exhaust pipe, and you change those things to, performance exhaust pipe. It's a different sound. Same thing. Okay. I hope you get able to get it. It's about intensity. It's about perhaps when you talk about effluent discharge, it's the concentration of individual parameters. Probably one company is releasing COD 200 milligram per liter at say 50 meter cube per hour, compared to another factory releasing effluent, same type of factory, 1000 milligram per liter at 50 meter cube per hour. Different magnitude of impact. We'll discuss that, okay? And also perhaps size of impact, okay? I mean size of that particular aspect causing different severity of impact. So because magnitude and severity, they are linked, okay? But we differentiate it. Severity is more into how far does it go? How far can we hear the sound of the S1000RR standard pipes? And how far can we hear the S1000RR SC Project full system? With SC Project full system, you can hear the sound of the exhaust much further. Same thing with when we're talking about factories on fire. Small fire and big fire, the severity of impact is different. I believe you are able to comprehend this, okay, and able to apprehend this when you do the evaluation of your environmental aspects. All right, magnitude, severity is simple. It is related, but we differentiate it in terms of severity. How far does it spread? Magnitude is the moment of release. Severity is magnitude is the impact from the moment of release. Severity is how far the impact would cover, okay, or spread. And some of our environmental aspects are subscribing to legal requirement. Our company is using materials and releasing some form of environmental aspects, and some of which, well, I would say most of which are subscribing to legal requirement. It could be government law, it could be international standard, all right? So we got to look into that when there's a more legal. Of course, we are evaluating legal when there's a presence of legal requirement within the region or the nation. The legal risk is higher, so we would evaluate it at a higher scale. All right. And how would the environmental aspects be a concern to business, be an impact to businesses? Some of the environmental aspects inevitably is high in cost. So when there is a higher cost, eventually it might not be viable for the company to continue to use those environmental aspects in terms of raw materials, perhaps. So that would incur risk, which is cost, and what opportunity that the company might have could be an alternative materials. So these are business concerns, and cost of materials is causing a business impact. Okay, the same thing with operational cost. That is why, end of the day, when I was doing this for the 20 odd years, I see that when cost is a factor for business, it actually stimulates some form of innovation, such as recycling, such as opting for alternate materials, and they develop certain other materials or even change process techniques to ensure operation cost is lowered, but not in the expense of the quality of product, and it's being done. Okay, and that is what you call innovation. And I believe in innovation, and let this spark interest of our younger generation to get them to churn their rods and cones to come up with innovative ideas in terms of all this manufacturing as a whole. Okay, and also the longer the environmental aspect is released, the higher would be the impact to the environment. So this is not about the impact per se, but those aspects, how it is being released in terms of continuity. How long would it be released into the environment? The longer, the more consistent the release, then the environmental impact is more prominent. So we have got to look at duration. For example, a company with a sequential batch reactor releasing effluent, okay, only once in a day, and that release is amounting to like 120 meter cube, okay, 120 meter cube, but released only once per day, compared to another company, similar process, releasing like 40 meter cube per hour only, but continual release into the stream. The impact to the stream or the receiving water body is different as compared to these two different types of similar types of industries, but different releases, duration of releases. One is intermittent release, huge amount. Another is continual release, lesser amount but continuous. The impact is different. On top of that, there's also frequency, which is related. Duration and frequency is related as well. How frequent is it being released? Daily, hourly, or once a day, or what? Once a week? It's different. So frequency is more into how frequent it is released, and can we contain it when it's released. Also part of our rating and frequency, remediation friendly when it is released, the frequency, all right, and how treatable is all these environmental aspects. These are some of the what do you call things that we would, apart from the word frequency per se, we would look into. It is when it is released, can we recover? Because if we are able to recover quickly, the impact to the environment is much lower, and the remediation is in, I would say, less effort or less cost. So this is about it. All right, and let's take a look. This is in short, and in the next few slides, sorry, in the next few video, we're going to discuss this. So in the next video, we are going to pick probably one environmental aspect. I think we will begin with the diesel transfer. If you remember the past video, we have got about 3 environmental aspects in the dashboard from the diesel transfer. That video is on how she manage, how she work in diesel transfer, is on safety, health, environment. We'll do that, and also in the input output analysis, we have done the what they call input output analysis for the activity diesel transfer. So I will pick like 3 or so environmental aspect. We'll begin with one environmental aspect, rate them, scale them out, identify in terms of severity, or the level of environmental impact based on each criteria: magnitude, severity, duration, frequency, etc. So in the next video, we're going to use the first criteria for discussion, which is magnitude. So stay tuned for the next video. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, subscribers, viewers, and supporters of this channel. I appreciate your presence, and I'm honored to be here for you. I wish everybody in Bahasa Melayu as usual. If you haven't got the translation, let me know in the comments. I'll translate it for you. Semoga dikurniakan kesenangan, keselamatan, kesejahteraan, kebahagiaan, dan kejayaan kehidupan di dunia dan di akhirat. Until we meet in the next video, stay healthy, stay safe, all right? And if you're a rider, ride safe. So until the next video, I wish everybody Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.